Every gilded cage is built with walls of comfort. The only question is what you're paying for them.
Hello and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a huge question. Who is actually architecting your reality? We're going to explore how the power to control what you see and think has shifted from very visible hands to, well, invisible code. And most importantly, what that all means for you.
So think about it for a second. Every single time you open an app, every time you scroll through a feed, a decision is being made. A decision about what you see and what you don't see. Now, you might think, well, I'm the one making the decision. But as you're about to find out, the real answer is a whole lot more complicated.
You know, to really get a grip on what's happening now, we've got to take a step back. We have to look at how things used to be. For pretty much all of modern history, the information you got, the news, the shows, the whole shebang, was controlled by a very small, very powerful group of people. The reality you saw was the one they decided you should see. And this number, wow, this really paints the picture, doesn't it? By 2011, 90% of everything Americans saw, read, and heard was controlled by just 6 companies, 6 boardrooms. That's it. Talk about concentrated power. So how did a system like that actually work? Well, academics Herman and Chomsky broke it down in their propaganda model. And look, this wasn't some shadowy conspiracy theory. It was just a system. Think of it like a machine with 5 filters. Everything had to pass through them. Was it good for the corporate owners? Did advertisers like it? Did it come from an official source? If it rocked the boat too much, it got hit with what they called flack. Basically, a wave of criticism to push it back in line. The result was that the range of acceptable debate was quietly, neatly managed for everyone.
But then, something happened. Something came along that promised to just shatter that entire model. It was a technological earthquake that was supposed to take the microphone away from the few and hand it to, well, to everyone.
And you know what? For a while there, it really seemed to be working. The promise was absolutely incredible. Anyone with a good idea and a keyboard could suddenly bypass all those old corporate filters. This whole creator economy just exploded. You had artists and writers and filmmakers finding their audience directly without needing some suit in a corner office to give them the green light. It honestly felt like we were on the verge of true freedom of information. But here's the twist. The old gates, they weren't just smashed and left in ruins. They were replaced. And in their place, new, invisible walls started going up all around us. That amazing promise of freedom was quietly being traded for a new kind of control, one that was automated, personal, and way more powerful than the old one.
And this right here, this comparison just nails the shift. We went from a human editor, a person with biases, sure, but whose job was to inform or entertain, to an algorithm. And the algorithm, it has one goal and one goal only: keep your eyeballs glued to the screen for as long as possible. The new gatekeeper is code. And its control isn't top-down, it's everywhere. An invisible hand shaping your world one click at a time.
So how in the world does it do it? Well, the first tool in its kit is chemical. It's a hack on your own brain. These platforms are designed exactly like a slot machine. Every like, every share, every little red notification bubble, that's an unpredictable reward. It gives you a tiny hit of a brain chemical called dopamine. It feels good. So you keep pulling the lever, or, keep scrolling, compulsively chasing that next little rush. Next up, the algorithm gets to know you. It learns what makes you tick, what makes you happy, and especially what makes you angry. And then it just feeds you more and more of that. So instead of opening up your world, this so-called personalization actually builds walls around you. It creates an echo chamber where all you hear are your own beliefs reflected back at you, getting louder and louder. And this is the really deep psychological effect of that echo chamber. When you're completely surrounded by agreement, your brain starts to see any different perspective not as just information, but as a threat, something to be fought off automatically without you even thinking about it. And please, don't think for a second that any of this is an accident. It is absolutely intentional. There's an entire field of science dedicated to it, sometimes called captology or persuasive technology. It is literally the study of how to build technology that changes human behavior and attitudes, from the exact shade of a button to the irresistible lure of the infinite scroll. One of the biggest emotional levers they use is something we've probably all felt: FOMO, the fear of missing out. That constant stream of updates, those stories that disappear in 24 hours, it's all engineered to create this low-grade anxiety that if you're not constantly checking in, you're gonna be left out of the loop. And that feeling isn't just a side effect, it's the point. It's a feature, not a bug. They've essentially taken our very human, very real need to connect with other people and weaponized it. They've turned it into a tool that makes being offline feel like a genuine social threat, pushing you to log back on again and again. Okay, so if you thought all that was a little unsettling, well, buckle up, because now we're moving on to the next evolution of this whole thing. The algorithm that used to just curate content for you, well, now it's learning to create the content itself. That's right, artificial intelligence has officially entered the game. And the difference is just staggering. Human creation is slow, it's expensive, it's messy. AI-generated content, it's instant, it's dirt cheap, and it can be produced on a scale that is almost impossible for our brains to comprehend. This one shift completely changes the entire information landscape. And this is where the stakes get incredibly high. This is where things start to sound like they're ripped from a sci-fi movie, but they're not. When you combine this powerful AI with emerging technologies that can read brain signals, the possibility of directly influencing thought becomes very real. We are moving beyond just showing you a persuasive ad and into territory that could, one day, influence the human mind from the inside out. And look, these threats aren't some far-off future problem. They're here now. AI can already be used to create propaganda that's perfectly tailored to your individual psychology. It can automate the creation of millions of manipulative stories. It can create convincing deepfakes and flood our world with disinformation. What's the end game? It has the power to completely fracture our shared sense of what is real. Okay, I know. That picture looks pretty bleak. And in a lot of ways, it is. But here's the crucial thing. Understanding the architecture of control is always the first step toward reclaiming your freedom. So let's talk about what we can actually do to navigate this digital circus and take back our own reality. So on a big societal level, experts generally point to 4 major goals. First, transparency. We have to demand that these companies open up the black box and show us how their algorithms work. Second, education. We need to teach digital literacy from a young age. Third, we have to support diverse, independent media that exists outside the system. And finally, we need smart, strong, ethical regulations for AI that put people first. But you don't have to wait for all that to happen. There are things each of us can do right now. Think of it as building your own personal toolkit. Start by just becoming aware of how your feeds are trying to manipulate you. Practice healthy skepticism, especially with anything that looks AI-generated. Take time to understand your own biases. And maybe most importantly, work on building the emotional resilience to stay grounded in this chaotic online world. So we want to leave you with this one last question. The old gatekeepers, the old ringmasters, at least they were visible. You could point to them. But in today's digital circus, the ringmaster is invisible. It's just code. And that leaves us all with a choice, doesn't it? Are we just going to be the audience, passively watching the show? Or can we be the ones who finally see the strings and decide it's time to walk out of the tent? Thanks for joining us.